Teshi. Give a round of applause, like guys. And then next, we got our Taki. We got Michael Sinterniklaas.
Woo!
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then of course, we got our Mitsuwa. We got Stephanie, Sheh. Everybody, give her a round of applause.
Woo! Yeah.
Wherever you want. Wherever you want.
Oh, there's one right here.
There you go. There's one over there.
Okay. Oh,
So, how are you guys doing this morning?
grand.
Grand.
I made myself coffee.
Oh.
I ground it fresh, and yeah, I'm very silly about my coffee now. What do you think?
You know, people like their things their way. That's okay. So your name. Now, I was telling Stephanie yesterday that I did not know much about the movie, and I watched it blindly.
Best way to watch it.
I watched it blindly, and it was like, what did they do to me? So when you guys were getting ready to start this movie, what were your impressions of like reading the script and going over the movie? What was your thoughts on it?
So, before we work on any project, the first thing we do is first thing I do is I watch it. I just watch it as an audience member because our job in creating the dub is to recreate that feeling that I get as an audience member to all of the dub audience. And I watched the movie and I was like, and also this one over here, Michael.
This one.
If you ever watch anything with him, he has this like sixth sense where even if he's never seen anything before, he accidentally spoils it. Like he accidentally gives away the end. I remember watching. We were watching this like a two-parter episode of House, right? And there's a two-parter episode of House where somebody had some crazy disease and people were gonna die, whatever. But at the very beginning of the episode, there was just some random shot of pigeons, right? And it's a two-parter episode. They go through like all these other things of what it could be, and Michael just casually is like, "It's the pigeons." And by the end of 2 episodes, it was the epic pigeons. And I looked at him and I was like, "Did you know? Like, what clued you?" And he goes, "Nah, he just like, I don't know if he said it to be funny, but it's like the superpower, right?" Anyways, long story short, he didn't get any of the twists. When we were watching, he did not. Yeah, and we were watching it with his other friend, Caitlin, who was like calling out that she was like, "Oh, I bet it's this," or "Ah, I bet blah blah blah," and like it wasn't like it wasn't. And then when the big twist happened, I don't want to. Everyone's seen it. I don't want to waste it.
Anyone not seen it? Has everyone seen it? No, you've not seen
Okay,
it.
I don't want to spoil it. But then when the big twist happened, she was like, "Whoa, did not see that coming." So yeah. Anyways, it was at the time. I think at that time when I saw the movie, there was a lot of trend in movie making and TV shows to be really dark, like more real and dark and gritty, and like that movie was kind of uplifting for me, and it felt like it was the movie that I needed, much like life right now. And when I saw Superman, it was like the movie that I needed. Like I needed that uplifting feeling that Superman gave me because life just seems really hard right now, and I needed good to win out. I needed romance. I needed like destiny.
And a dog.
I love dogs. So that's a long answer. Okay, it's only 25-minute panel. Someone else talk.
Oh God, it's 25 minutes?
Oh my God, real quick, look. I can say this generically for all anime voice actors. We are blank slates when we show up to the session. So no rehearsals, no screenings or any of that. So I show up, and when we get the short version, the director says, "This is the plot, and this is what's happening in your scene." And then we cue it up, we preview each line in Japanese, and we dub it into English. And that's just drop you in the deep end of the pool and hope you get to swim.
Are your reactions in the booth?
I mean, kind of. I mean, generally, yeah. You get asked to find out, "Oh, does my character die?" And they say yes. I'm like, "Oh man, don't get attached." I'm like, "Oh, fine."
I think for Kyle, he didn't have any scenes where they were like big, like, "Oh my gosh" moments.
No.
So it wasn't like so crazy. But I was directing Jeremy on a different show, and she was very much like, wait, what's going on? What's happening? Wait, I can't. Wait, what's happening? And I was like, just wait till the next line. She's like, no, you have to tell me what's happening. She was like freaking out.
What about you, my boy?
Yeah, this, Stephanie and I had the advantage of, my studio, NYB Post, got the job. And this project was sort of a strange one. The license holders were going around trying to sell this movie, and they were saying, would you like to buy Makoto Shinkai's next film? And people were like, sure. Can I see it? They're like, no, it has not been made yet. Would you like to buy it? They're like, well, I'd like to see it. Can I maybe read a script? It is not completed. They're like, what are we bidding on? Can I wait till something's done? You can have it now. And they were like, I'll wait. So everyone said, I'll wait, except for one strange boy in Scotland, Andrew. Andrew was like, take all my money right now, and I think the decision changed his life. So the global rights holder outside of Japan is this one guy, Andrew Partridge, and then Funimation had to sub-license it from him. So when we got it, they were like, well, you're very small, we don't know, but you're the only person who bid early, so we'll let you have it, but we reserve the right not to release the dub if you don't like it. So we had 5 weeks, which is very short, to adapt the script, cast everything, record, edit, mix, and deliver it. And we, Stephanie and I, so we watched it, we're like, we gotta hurry up and do this thing. We watched it and went, oh my God, this is really special. This is a really, 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 whoa. So we were trying to audition all these different people, and we ran into all these roadblocks. People couldn't do the other character. Boys kept putting on a girl voice when, you know, she was inside his body, but then we're like, no, it's your body, her soul, not her voice. You're still a dude. You don't have to be like, big brother. So anyway, at some point, she was like, well, Michael's got that feminine side, and I was like, well, she's from Michigan, and also I think it has that that rough and tumble energy that I think would be perfect for her. And so we pitched to Andrew, like, I think she'd be good. I want to read her, and she was like, I think he'd be good. I want to pitch him. And then Andrew was like, we wanted you to play the lead from the beginning. Why do you think we gave it to you? And we were like, oh, sorry. So then we ended up doing it. And then having to direct each other. So we got to see it ahead of time, which usually the actors don't, like Kyle was saying. So it's a tricky situation. We had very little time. And then we ended up co-directing it, which meant we also directed each other. And long story short, too late, we are both directors, both actors. We had to come up with a rule very early on where we would have responsibility for our own characters. So if I'm playing her, or she's playing her, she can veto my direction. And if she's playing me or I'm playing me, I can veto her direction. So, cut to the Oscar qualifying screener, and we met Shinkai, and they were like, "Oh, these are the two leads," and they also directed. And he was like, "Wait, you what?" And we explained our thing, and he goes, "Oh, well then, the English dub is the only version of my movie where these characters influence each other, and so now I really want to see the dub." So, no discuss. Yeah.
Well, I have a follow-up question for that. Since I didn't realize you guys were directing each other on your voices, but did you guys coach each other or give each other notes on how when you guys were in each other's bodies, were your characters were in each other's bodies?
Well, that was the thing about the vetoing.
Gotcha. Okay.
That was like if I was like, no, I would never say it that way. You know, like.
Yeah, like there's one time you said, oh, I wouldn't say it this way. I'm like, but you're me. And I would, so say it that way, yeah.
One of the other things I wanted to bring up, the thing that was kind of tricky about this was there was an accent for the town, for Itamori. And we didn't want to go southern because it felt really hokey. But also if you look on the map of like Japan, it's not really south of Tokyo. So we went with this kind of like Midwestern kind of accent. And we put that
Kyle crushed.
No, that's what I'm getting at. It's like we put the auditions out and we got a lot of weird shit back.
They all devolved into like Irish.
And
like, oh yeah, Midwestern toy.
And then Kyle, I don't know if you know this, but when I heard your audition, I was like, that is exactly it. And so when I was directing, we actually modeled the accent for all of the other performers off of the accent you were doing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's news to me.
Kyle Hebert is an influencer.
Hey! Smash that subscribe button, follow it.
It was interesting. I was literally like recording reporters from Minnesota talking about Prince because they had like a natural light accent, and I was like sending it to the team like to kind of get a gauge of like what it should sound like.
And this town was based off a real inspirational story, like a town that was decimated by a hurricane, I believe, right? That's what I was reading.
Man, I don't really know. We don't really have that insight. I've heard so many theories about what that was supposed to be. You know, some people say it's allegory for Fukushima. Other people say like so. It's hard. I can't speak to that.
But Ichimori does not exist, but it is based on, like an amalgam of various things.
Now,
The staircase is real. A lot of people sent us photos of, I went to the staircase at the end.
now, this is a very emotional movie. What kind of headspace did you have to get into, especially, for you two? I think you kind of more like the sidekick, what's going on? Okay, I'm gonna blow stuff up. But
Like you do.
But as far as, like, especially you guys too, I mean, even you, Kyle, as well, what kind of headspace did you have to get while you're performing this movie?
I think the headspace of something that I'm not used to when dubbing anime, which is normally a little more heightened, and this was specifically, we want something grounded and real. So instead of manic energy, we could just kind of just dial it back. And I like that you could basically listen to just any of the dialogue in this movie and feel like it's from a live action movie. And I really, really enjoy that aesthetic. Yeah.
What about you, Stephanie?
I mean, I don't really recall too much of it because we were on such a tight deadline. Most of our sessions were like starting at 11 p.m. So
Yeah.
I was just so exhausted.
Yeah, it was rough. I wish we had more time. It turns out the approval Toho was going to give to Andrew was based on the trailer, and so if we'd known that, we could have recorded the trailer and had more time for the movie. But they wanted to finish the movie, pull the lines from the movie to put into the trailer. Bird. The bird is cool. But it was really, really hard because we were co-directing 9 to 9, then we'd take a dinner break, come back, and then start going and then go into like 2 or 3. So it was hard because of that, and there was all this other stuff going on with the business, and so I remember it being like a very emotionally trying time, and but we like carried each other through this thing. So which I think is actually part of the story of the musubi and the connection, and I think connection is what made this film really work.
Did you guys do the night sessions?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was
Yeah,
gonna say.
The all-night
yeah,
sessions.
it was
And
like-
then back at 9.
Wow.
Yeah. So we were directing you guys, like the rest of the cast during the day, and then we would direct each other like really late at night. I remember being sweaty and barefoot in the booth, like being like, oh.
So next time you watch Mitsuha making spit sake, just think of her sweating barefoot.
Was there any other characters in you guys' past that you kind of brought inspiration to your characters for your name?
I wouldn't say that Mitsuha was based on any other character, you know.
Yeah, same. Actually, I think Taki, on his own, before he has to deal with the situation and sort of open up to someone else, is sort of closed off and a little bit of a jerk. We also see him with like a little bit of an injury, right? At some point, we don't know what the fight he got into.
Oh yeah,
was.
he has a face injury.
Yeah, it's a little face injury, but we don't know what that is. And then, in the next movie, Weathering With You, that kid's got a bandage on his face. There's something about Shinkai's leading males with face damage. Gotta connect that in the Shinkai-verse.
Well, I know, Kyle, you had kind of said that you kind of just show up. You're just like, I'm doing my thing.
I show up and I do my thing, but I can honestly say I've never voiced someone with a Midwest accent in any other project in the 25 years I've been doing this. Yes!
You're not even from the Midwest.
I know. I'm
Where
from.
did you like pull that out from? You just
That's a good question. Sometimes I just listen and I'm kind of a mimic, but originally, my last name is Hebert, not Herbert. I am from Louisiana, but I grew up in Dallas, and now I live in LA. So I'm all over the map. Literally.
Were you guys surprised about how the fans kind of reacted to this movie and how like they praised it, and all the recognition that it's gotten?
well, the movie was out in Japan first, and it had a lot of hype. So we kind of knew, and and having watched it, we knew. I mean, I felt really confident it was a great movie, and there was a lot of buzz. So kind of knew that there would be some kind of push in terms of marketing. So with that, I wasn't that surprised. I will say though, like in the beginning, do you remember the whole trailer incident? So the trailer was released and they just pulled it from the movie lines. And sometimes we make trailers for dubs, right? Usually, like most of the time, and a lot of the trailer is you just pull the scenes from the movie. But sometimes when you cut together the trailer, it doesn't feel right. Or the performance is out of context, doesn't feel right. It could potentially sound too big and hence bad or whatever, right? So they made the trailer so quickly, they pulled the lines from the movie, which is fine. Also, the mixing of the trailer really can help smooth things out. When the trailer came out, because there was so much anticipation for the movie and the dub, there was like people who were like, Mitsuha sounds terrible. And there was also like random like Asian blogging sites, then picked up. What they would used to do is they instead of writing a real article, they would just scour Twitter for comments, and then they would pull Twitter comments as their quotes, and then says, all the fans hate the new Mitsuha, and everybody wants her replaced. And then somebody then started a campaign on like a change.org, petition to remove me from the film and get me replaced. I mean, luckily it went nowhere, and then when the movie came out, that kind of died out, and then like it doesn't. But like, yeah, that happened.
Oh yeah, and actually it's funny, you probably never saw that. Maybe you did at the very beginning, but it was because Andrew licensed it first. Our dub was made for the UK release, and then where the music was actually Japanese. Then Funimation sub-licensed it from Andrew and said, hey, I got a phone call saying, so it turns out the Radwimps did an English version of all the music. Celts a Breeze, we had no idea that was coming. So would you want to help us like remaster it? And I was like, yes. I feel like we rushed it out the door with a mix, but didn't get to do what's called a print master, where we take it to like a theater-sized recording studio and make sure it's all legal on the meters and stuff, and smooth it over. But now we're flying in a new soundtrack, we get to do that pass. So, I offered a studio in LA at a discount, not my own, well, weirdly now it's my own. And then this legendary mix engineer who did all these big Hollywood movies, who did things on the cheap with me because we were print mastering all these G-Kids releases. Anyway, it was gonna be $2,000 all in. And they were like, we can do it for half that in Dallas. I was like, what, who's gonna do it? So I flew myself down there. Now the team that did it was great, and they've done a lot of other things, but Funny had just previously released a One Piece movie, and so they were used to making it rock, and they did that to Your Name. And when I came in and listened to it, I was like, uh-oh, all the little, and all the nuance that you're talking about sounding live action sounded really pushed and like extra like fight sceney. So we got to the theater, and then I was like, we just pull it back, we take off the compressors, and I felt like a real pain in the butt at the beginning. There was a little bit of tension, but by the end of it, we'd all really bonded over these choices, and when we sat back and watched it, that team was like, oh, it like breathes now, that's really nice. And I was like, yes, that's what I was going for. Thank you for letting me do that, even though I was a guest and a pain in your butt. But so in the end, it all came together really nicely, but the release you saw was better and more nuanced, and then had the English music. Now, sometimes I get caught up on hearing a can of soda, and like, what does that mean in terms of love? But it was really, really great to get a second chance at it, and I'm really grateful to Funimation for letting me come be a fly in the ointment.
There's a lot this movie kind of went through.
Yeah.
I didn't know all that.
And I'll say this, no project that you've ever seen is ever done. It just gets ripped out of your hands by the distributor. So at the end of 5 weeks, we're like, I'd like to do pickups, I like to redo stuff. There's still stuff I hear in my performance that I like to fix. I think she's perfect, he's perfect. But you know, we had 5 weeks to do the whole thing. It's just, you give it this amount of time. We tried really hard to fill all that time like a gas with all the little changes we can do, and then it gets taken away, and then you've got to trust it to the audience. But it was really beautiful to see it in theaters and then hear people's reactions. When the pen drops, a lot of gasps, very, very rewarding to hear that. But it's really special to see it. And I don't know, do you think it's going to get a re-release for the anniversary?
No clue. I have no idea.
I sure hope it does. Because seeing it in theaters with other people sharing that experience is really, really special.
The animation is beautiful.
It's
I
really
mean, like
beautiful.
that first 5 minutes, I was like, whoa, like this is a lot. So I mean, seeing it in theaters would be amazing for sure. And I would say, Stephanie, like there's no one I could think that would do a better performance of Misua. So you did amazing.
Aw, thank you.
So, we got a couple of minutes. Do we have any fan questions for the cast here? Anybody want to ask any questions? No? Maybe? Yes? Okay, I'll come down. All right, tell us your name and what's your question?
Hello, my name is Alberto. So I wanted to ask, what's y'all's favorite moments in the film Your Name?
All of them. Because my part is a much smaller part. So
I recently came across a file of an early like edit output check video that was on like an old hard drive. I just hit play and I was like, oh yeah, man, this, as soon as it starts, I was like kind of getting sucked in. And then Stephanie says, oh, it's gonna happen, stop it. I said I was gonna do it. She says, like, sometimes I wake up crying, and I'm just like, ugh. And immediately I was like, dang it, that beginning, when she falls off the bike, or runs and falls, and then looks at her hand to see what I wrote, and goes, it's not gonna help. And then has a little choked up thing, that makes me cry. You playing with dog, for some reason, it's not overly done, like, or like, I don't care about the dog. Like, there's something perfect about the slight distraction, and it just makes me feel like you're there, you're with the person you're gonna be with, little moments like that. The animation sequence of when he drinks the sake, and then it goes into a different animation style, those are some of my key moments.
I love Katie Harvey's performance. She's, she played my little sister, and she's like, stop grabbing your boobs! Like, yeah, she's so cute.
Anything for you, Kyle? He's like, I showed up. I was there.
I'll tell you, I was really impressed to see, am I remembering this right? That was up for Best Foreign Film. No, it wasn't? Was it nominated or in anything?
It wasn't nominated, a lot of people were upset. I think
Because that
Funimation
year
never,
was super competitive.
yeah,
Oh,
but also,
okay.
like, it's a really hard ground game to get something nominated, and I think Funny's just very new to it. They did one screen, they needed 3, so.
They got their screenings, they like cramped, so the thing is you need 3 screenings, and they cramped it in at the very end of the year. But they weren't huge screenings, they were like tiny theaters. So it got, it was eligible but they could have made it eligible the following year instead if they had held off. It's all like a political, like tactical thing. And the following year had let's just say it was not a good year for animated features. It was not a lot of great films, but the year prior when they made it eligible, had a lot of great films. So I think it did it.
All right,
yeah.
it's a fever dream. Okay.
It was an alternate dimension.
Yes, multiverse.
Well, it's a beautiful film, and I think a lot of us can agree on that. Guys, we are out of time, but I want to give a round of applause for our cast of Your Name.
Woo!
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
You can make sure to go see them at their booths. I think they're over on that side. But thank you, and y'all have a great time. Thanks.
Thanks, too. Enjoy.